Iran is opening a new front in the war against the United States of America, one that they are not aware of. The Strait of Hormuz will be closed forever, and Khamenei vows to avenge the incident at the school in Minab. Iran will continue the war against the United States until victory and is ready to attack the United States itself, and all American bases in the Middle East must be urgently closed, otherwise the countries of the Persian Gulf will be destroyed. This is how you can briefly describe the first address of Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, who has finally broken his silence. However, it should be noted that no one has actually seen or heard Mojtaba Khamenei. He simply sent a written address which was read out on local television. So, in this address, Khamenei personally threatens Donald Trump and the United States of America as a whole. He assures that Iran will not stop the war and that oil will eventually cost $200 per barrel. And Iran will definitely take revenge and is ready to open new fronts in the war, in which, according to Khamenei, the US and Israel are definitely weak and will definitely lose. In this episode, I suggest we discuss the first address of Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, and analyze what really stands behind it. My name is Alexei Pechi. Let's discuss this topic together. But before we start this address, I ask you to subscribe to this channel, like the episode, and write your comment. I'm asking you to do this because it helps YouTube's algorithms recommend this episode to as many viewers as possible. Well, subscribe to my Telegram channel Pechi News. The link is in the description of this video. There we publish breaking news as it comes in. So, 4 days after his appointment as the new supreme leader of Iran, the world finally got an idea of the worldview of Mojtaba Khamenei. As expected, Mojtaba Khamenei completely follows his father's policy, and he is ready to drown Iran in blood. These are almost his exact words, because he says that rivers of blood will flow throughout the region. However, Khamenei, who has been elevated to the rank of Ayatollah and proclaimed by his followers as the exalted leader of the Islamic Revolution, for some reason did not appear on video and did not even release an audio statement. He hasn't been seen or heard from since the war began. Instead, he supposedly published a long written message which was then read out on state television. In it, he laid out his views on the course of the war, praised the Iranian armed forces, and demanded compensation from those who attacked his country. Also, the US says that if reparations are not paid to Iran, Khamenei promises to seize American assets in the region. It's funny that the message, supposedly from Khamenei, was quickly spread through a new Telegram channel created by his office. It was filled with coded symbols meant to attract his supporters and was backed up by publishing an image of 3 handwriting samples. One from the first supreme leader Ruhollah Khamenei, then the handwriting of the killed Ali Khamenei, and the handwriting of Mojtaba Khamenei himself. As if these handwriting photos are supposed to convince all of us that this message was written by Mojtaba Khamenei himself. And so, according to this statement, Khamenei learned about his appointment from state television, which suggests that he too was caught off guard. He says he never expected to be chosen as supreme leader. And it looks extremely strange, as if he didn't even suspect that he could become the next Ayatollah. And here's another purely fanatical claim. According to Mojtaba Khamenei, he managed to see the body of his murdered father, Ali Khamenei, and he was holding his fist clenched, as if to say that Ali Khamenei was ready to fight even at the moment of death. In his message, Khamenei was full of the usual pompous rhetoric. There he praised the Resistance Front, which is a code name for the severely weakened proxy forces in the region, like Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Yemeni Houthis. The message was filled with calls for neighboring countries to close American bases and threats to continue striking American interests in the region. Here's where I'll add more detail. Addressing the armed forces of Iran, Khamenei emphasized that the people want the war to continue. Here is his quote. "The plans to close the Strait of Hormuz must definitely continue. Work has also been done to open other fronts, where the enemy has little experience and will be extremely vulnerable. If the war situation continues, these fronts will be activated to protect our interests." Speaking about Iran's attacks on American bases in Middle Eastern countries, Khamenei noted, quote, We have 15 neighboring countries, but the enemy has military bases in some of these countries. These bases were used in the recent attacks against us, and we have also targeted these bases. If these bases continue to be used, we will continue to respond in the same way. My advice to our neighbors is to close these bases as soon as possible, because they need to understand that America's claim of security and peace is actually a lie. This step will also help them strengthen ties with their people, as most of their people are dissatisfied with supporting the hypocritical front and its derogatory actions. At the same time, this will increase the wealth and power of the countries. In addition, the new leader of Iran, Khamenei, also stated that they will demand compensation from the enemy, meaning America, saying, quote, "We will demand compensation from the enemy. If they refuse, we will seize their property in the specified amount, and if that is not possible, we will destroy the same amount of their property." And in addition, Khamenei swore to take revenge for the children and teachers who were killed as a result of the attack on the elementary school in the city of Minab. And here I should add that, as the New York Times wrote the other day, the preliminary results of the internal investigation into the American strike on the school in Minab, Iran, are as follows. It was a tragic mistake caused by outdated intelligence and official negligence. The internal investigation confirmed that the United States of America is responsible for the Tomahawk strike on the girls' school in Minab. The strike was the result of an intelligence error. The United States considered the school building to be part of a naval base belonging to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which was targeted in the strike. But there are some very important details here. The school building is located 100 meters from the main building of the military base. The school building was indeed once part of the IRGC Navy base. But between 2013 and 2016, the IRGC left this building, which was converted into a school and separated from the Navy base by a fence, as can be seen in satellite images. Watchtowers were removed, the entrance opened, grounds cleared for sports and playgrounds, and murals painted on walls. The school building and satellite images confirmed the removal of watchtowers and the presence of playgrounds. The school building at the IRGC Navy base was cleared, opening the area and adding 3 sports fields. At the same time, the school building was part of the IRGC Navy base, with watchtowers. At the same time, the school building was part of the IRGC Navy base. The watchtowers and fences were removed. 3 watchtowers were removed, sports and playgrounds cleared, and walls painted. The area became a school with open sports and playgrounds. Now in the US, they are looking for those responsible for making such a fatal mistake, although Trump himself refused to admit guilt for the strike. But going back to Khamenei's address, I should note that he did not offer any path to ending the violence, nor did he announce what the end of this war should look like. What would Iran consider a victory, and what are its goals? In Khamenei's message, there are no promises of reforms, no indications of what he intends to do, no signs that he plans to abandon any of his father's main political programs, and so on. The point is, he simply stated that they will keep fighting. That's it. However, the main question remains unanswered. The Iranian public and the whole world still have not seen or heard from the new leader, who is reportedly designated. And here the question arises, who actually makes the decisions in Iran? And there is suspicion that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is behind everything, and Mojtaba Khamenei is just a front to create legitimacy for the government. But it is already obvious that Iran is demonstrating that it is not seeking a ceasefire or an end to the war, and believes that it has not yet inflicted enough serious damage on the United States. They are even allies in the global economy. Therefore, it seems to me that the situation will continue to develop in the same direction as it is today. I'll leave it at that. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments below this episode. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like. If you found this episode interesting and useful, you can support our YouTube channel financially with your donation or, for example, a paid subscription. How to do this? All the links and details are in the description of this video, or you can use the QR code. This is also a very convenient way to support our channel. I would be grateful for any support you can give. That's all for now. Take care. Goodbye, everyone.